This episode may contain some triggering content around eating disorders and mental health. If you're struggling, please speak to your doctor. Do you feel exhausted, overwhelmed, and like no matter what you do, you're still not healthy enough? You're not alone. In a world where social media bombards us with picture-perfect wellness routines and endless ads promising the secret to feeling better, it's easy to get lost in the noise. But what if the real key to health isn't the latest superfood or morning routine, but in something much simpler? In this episode, we're breaking down the truth behind why so many of us feel unhealthy despite doing all the right things, and how to reclaim your well-being without the guilt, the pressure, or the overpriced supplements. Let's get real about wellness. Hi, my name is Meg, and you are listening to the Wellness Musings with Meg podcast. I am a fully qualified beautician and yoga teacher who has studied and worked in health and wellness since 2017. I have been obsessed with wellness my entire life and have always wanted to share my passions more. If you love health, wellness, and yoga and want to learn more, this podcast is for you. I will be bringing you all things wellness, from diet and lifestyle to beauty tips and tricks, and of course, yoga as well. So grab yourself a green tea and find a tranquil spot, and let's jump in. The wellness trap: why we feel unhealthy. The world of wellness can be a daunting one, and I know this firsthand, especially when I was a teenager and the social media world was starting to really come alive. I was bombarded by models and how I should look, what I should eat, how to be the bestest and the most perfect version of myself, and it almost killed me. At 13, I was so heavily influenced by the world of wellness and the crazy beauty routines and fad diets that it caused me to become anorexic. At 13, I was so worried about being perfect and grown up that I forgot to have my own childhood, and it meant I got pulled out of school and told, "I'm honestly shocked you haven't stood up out of a chair and had a heart attack and just passed away in school." That's what my counselor actually said to me. I was lucky. I got the help that I needed, and within a year, I was back at school with a clearer mind, better knowledge on healthy living, and started to thrive in a life that I understood more clearly. I think because of that experience, it enables me to see how dangerous the world of wellness can be. Between the clickbait, advertising, and people not having the correct information but still giving advice, you can get lost in a sea of bad information, confusion, conflicting opinions, and potentially dangerous advice. I'm someone who sees from the outside how triggering the information can be to encourage mental illness. I know because I was there. I followed all of the wellness advice when I was 13, and it led me down a dangerous path that almost cost me my life. I was doing all the right things, but yet I was the sickest I've ever been, all because of misinformation. We now live in what I like to call the TikTok era. Every teenager has this app, and it's on all of the time. Did you know that humans now have a lower attention span than a goldfish because of the marketing strategies and the way that TikTok and Reels have been affecting our heads? Pair this with clickbait and people actually giving bad information masked as good information to spark more people to watch their content out of shock value, and you have a seriously toxic mix that is shaping the minds of people globally. I'm not saying these platforms shouldn't exist, but I am saying that as a consumer of this content, I cannot stress enough how important taking information from credible sources is. I have seen TikTok pages for diet advice from girls as young as 14 running the page, promoting dangerous eating habits without any qualifications or basic understanding of human anatomy, let alone the digestive system, and how dangerous the advice they're giving and how it can affect people's whole lives, not for the better, but for the worse. And as a fully qualified beautician, I've seen people giving advice to do things like doing your own gel nails at home, which I know with my qualification, if gels are not applied correctly, it can damage your nail. If you use products that are cheap, you can cause serious reactions. And if you're not using a high enough spec LED gel lamp to cure the gels properly, you can actually give yourself an allergic reaction to a chemical in that gel. And it's the same chemical that hip and knee replacements are made from, meaning that if you have this allergy or give yourself this allergy, you may not be able to get a hip or knee replacement if you need it when you're older. And as a yoga teacher, do not even get me started on people teaching stretches dangerously, incorrectly, or trying to look sexy because they're promoting their own inappropriate content and labeling it as yoga. But that is a total other issue, and I will not even get close to that subject today, or we'll be here for hours. A lot of these pages are simply in it for themselves to make money or to grow their following. Always ask yourself, what is this page's message and what is it selling to you? Is it selling something? Is it a product or a program or a service? And even if they are selling these things, it's not necessarily bad, but do they actually genuinely care about their community? Do they really care about the product that they're selling, or are they just trying to shove it down your throat to get more likes, more follows, and more money? I think it's important to add that a lot of pages are there to make you feel bad about yourself. Why? Because they will have the magical answer to fix your problem. Having a bad day or two is normal. Wanting to eat something like a piece of chocolate cake on occasion is normal. In fact, wanting to eat is normal. Not feeling like you want to get up at 4 a.m. because the wellness world says you should, that's bloody normal. And not wanting to work out every single day of your life to the point where you feel like you're going to collapse is normal. And you shouldn't be made to feel like you should. But that is the world that we live in now. If you want to live healthy and bring more wellness into your life, here are some key points to make sure you cover before spending money on things that have been advertised to you. Start creating healthier lifestyle habits. Get yourself moving a little bit each day, and doing something that you enjoy, I think, is the key. Walking, swimming, dancing, yoga, Pilates, even if you do enjoy the gym, go for it. If you enjoy the movement, you're more likely to do it. And getting outside will help as well. I love gardening, and some days I will actually count my gardening as my daily movement. Look at your diet. Are you drinking plenty of water? We are made up of 70% water. Our bodies literally depend on it to thrive. We're like plants. You feed a plant water, or you give it water, and it grows happily. Are you getting a good range of nutritious food? I like to get loads of color on my plate. Every time I create my lunch or dinner or whatever, whenever I cook, I always do it by rainbow colors rather than doing it by like what I'm actually putting into it. So especially with vegetables. So for example, if I'm cooking a stir fry, I will have, whatever I choose to have, meat or fish or tofu, whatever I decide is like the main bulk. But then I go for my rainbow around that. So I'll use, for example, red pepper for the red, carrot for the orange, sweet corn for the yellow, pak choi, spring onions, some sort of green broccoli, peas for the green. And then I go for like a purpley color, so like red cabbage, something like that. So you're getting everything on your plate. And I also like to get seeds and pulses into my diet as well. I just think it's an easy way to start getting loads of fruit and vegetables into your diet without having to think that intensely about it. Just think about what fruit and veg you enjoy, and then getting that into your diet, incorporating that into your life. I personally love color, so that works really well for me. Like if I'm making a smoothie, I like it to have a vibrant color. So if I'm going to have or soup or anything, I like to know what color it's going to be. It's just me personally, but I feel like it helps me to get loads and loads of fruits and veggies into my diet. Look at your stress levels. I honestly think stress is one of the most important things. Why is it that some people are the healthiest but either die young or get diseases, whereas other people who have the most unhealthy lifestyle going, but yet they live into their 90s? I think it's because they've had a stress-free life. And this is why I think social media and marketing in wellness is so dangerous. It causes people to stress about something because they are made to feel like they need to stress or they need to change. And then they need to use their product because there's something wrong with them. Then they stress, and they stress more, which makes them feel like they need more of the product. It just seems like a bit of a vicious cycle. Sleep deprivation is another one. I honestly think sleep is the most underrated things in wellness, which is why I get so confused. Like, what is this whole getting up at 4 a.m. thing? 4 a.m.? 4 a.m. Are you joking? I really think it is better for your body to rest and repair than to get up at 4 a.m. to take supplements, to write in a journal, to do a Pilates class. Honestly, it's just ridiculous. If you're an early bird, good for you. Your body is built like that, and I commend you, and I think it's great. But please remember that everyone is different and everyone needs a different amount of sleep, especially if you're in more of a stressful job or environment. Your body needs a break, and that's okay. When you're asleep, your body does all of its repairing and all of its regeneration. So it's really important that you let it do that and you let it have the rest that it needs. I also think an overexposure to digital devices is a big one that people don't talk about so much. I mean, apart from the bombarding of wellness advertising and other crazy things on the internet that doesn't help your wellness and stress levels, life is for living. Also, if you're on your device late at night, the blue light will make it harder for you to fall asleep. So I think those two are kind of linked as well. Please remember the role of social media. There is a huge comparison culture and unrealistic portrayals of perfection, and then calling that health, and then pressure to buy products. Take a step back from it all. We are all different, and that is a good thing. My nanny always says that it takes all sorts to make a world, and that's honestly so true. Do not feel like because you or your life is different from what an influencer or a brand is telling you to be, that you're doing it wrong. Wellness has become a billion-dollar industry, convincing people they need constant fixes. And wellness is a personal thing. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love wellness. I always have. But it is important to be smart and to remember the point of health and wellness. It's about thriving in your life. It's supposed to make your life easier, not harder. These services and products are brilliant if you have an actual problem. For example, if you can't sleep but don't want to take medication apps may help. So maybe you want to pay for a meditation app, although the app Insight Timer is free and fantastic, so I highly recommend that. Maybe you want to try an aromatherapy pillow mist or a bubble bath or bath salts that help you relax. But whatever your problem is, look at it from a rational point of view before you start running straight to go and buy something. For example, in this scenario, if you're struggling to fall asleep, but you're on your phone till the early hours of the morning, yeah, that's probably not going to help. What real wellness looks like. You don't need an expensive routine to be healthy, despite what social media makes you think. Covering the basics I talked about, movement that you love, drinking water, a balanced diet, and stop smoking and vaping, that's another one. I say this all the time, you could spend millions on wellness, but if you're not covering the basics, it's just like pouring money down a drain. Focus on sustainable, realistic habits instead of trends, and listen to your own body instead of influencers and ads. And I honestly think that small, meaningful changes make a big difference, like hydration, your movement, better sleeping habits, stress management. These are all things that if you're hitting them, you're hitting those basics, and it will help you to thrive. Try unplugging from wellness influences and tuning into your personal needs instead. So listening to your body, and then potentially if there's a problem and you can't think of how to fix it, that's when maybe you would go down the wellness route and finding different products and services, rather than being made to feel like there's something wrong where there might not necessarily be something wrong. Like, there's nothing wrong with speaking to your doctor or your GP and getting some advice with wellness. When you are working with your basic, like you're hitting your basics and like creating a wellness routine, I do really think it's important that it should be based on joy and not guilt. So this is another thing that I think is good when you're looking at other social media platforms, or when you're being made to feel like you need to buy something. Have you been made to feel that out of guilt, or have you genuinely looked at something and gone, oh my gosh, I can't wait to use that? For example, like skincare for me. I love skincare as a beautician, as you can imagine. Yoga mats are another thing. Oh my goodness. I won't be made to feel like I need a yoga mat out of guilt or a beauty product out of guilt, but I would get something because I genuinely looked forward to using it and knowing that every day I would wake up and look forward to it. I will say some of the cheapest products I've ever bought, and this goes for yoga as well, I honestly think are like the best things. Like I bought some little ankle weights from Amazon for like a tenner. I love them. They're amazing, and nobody influenced me to buy them. My mum literally asked me what I wanted for Christmas, couldn't think of anything, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try some ankle weights because I think it will just up my yoga game a little bit more. I wear them almost daily. I wear them to walk the dog. I wear them in the gym. I wear them when I do yoga. Honestly, I need to go swimming with them as well because my ones are waterproof. They're awesome. But I was like looking forward to getting them, and I look forward to using them every day. Nobody made me feel like I needed it. I heard someone say in yoga once that as human beings, we just love to overcomplicate stuff, and sometimes the answer is just really the simplest. Wellness isn't something you buy, it's something you build for yourself. So start with your structure, start putting healthy habits in, start building something that you enjoy, a life that you enjoy. Maybe have a little reflection on yourself after listening to this episode. What's one thing that you could shift today? And if this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend who needs a reminder that health isn't about perfection, it's about feeling good in your own way. Or maybe leave me a comment and let me know what you took away from this and anything in your life that you want to start to shift. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed this episode and that you have found some value and some benefits to it. I can't wait to hear your comments, what you think about this, any advice or anything that you want to share. You can always tag me on Instagram and TikTok as well. And I look forward to seeing you for another episode of the Wellness Musings with Meg. Thanks. Bye.